Hi guys. So now that we looked at political parties in a previous video, in this video we'll look into pressure groups. Right. First of all, what is a pressure group? A pressure group is a collection of individuals who are gathered together in order to press the government to win certain desires. Okay. So basically, it is a group of people who are gathered together with the intention of pressurizing the government in order to win certain requests. Okay. So what are the common pressure groups that you see in the society? These trade unions, these labor unions, the unions of intellectuals, student unions, right? Those are the pressure groups, like Government Medical Officers Association, Sri Lanka Teachers Association, the Students Union of these universities, right? Petroleum Workers Association, National Workers Union, these kind of things, right? So you see these people are actively getting engaged in political stuff, such as just you see these people doing strikes, protests, they do rallies, they paste posters, they do press conferences, but you never see them contesting. You never see the Government Medical Officers Association running for an election. So unlike political parties who comes and say that that give me your vote, elect me as your representative, elect me as your government, and I will make the best policy for you, I will make the decision for you. What pressure groups does is that they don't ask for vote, they are not coming for the election. What they do is that they go to the government who has the power and pressure them until they do it, right? So if there's something wrong with the health, if there's something wrong with the medical field in Sri Lanka, hospitals in Sri Lanka, what political parties do is they come to you and tell you, these hospitals are like not properly maintained, elect us as your government, we will maintain the hospitals properly. That's what political parties do. What pressure groups do is that they go to the government, they go in front of the government and they pressure the government until they properly maintain the hospitals. Either if those are doctors, they do strike, they are like, we are not working until you properly maintain these, or they come and protest, or they go and do rallies, or they go and paste posters or do press conferences, pressurizing the government until they fix the problem. Okay, so those are pressure groups. Now pressure groups can also be known as interest groups, desire groups, advocacy groups, lobbying groups. In general use, these words are used as synonyms to refer to pressure groups, but when you deeply study the concept, you learn that there are slight differences. It's okay to use those as synonyms in a general context, and in your answer mention that although in general context they are synonyms, in practicality you can see these differences, right? So in thorough studies you can see that there are three types of these organizations. First you have pressure groups, then you have interest groups, then you have lobbying groups. Okay, right. Now lobbying groups are the third kind, is the easiest to understand, so we'll leave it till the end. So first let's identify what's the difference between pressure groups and interest groups. Okay, now as I told you all, these organizations are like groups of people who are gathered together to pressure the government to win certain desires. So the difference is pressure groups have a common field. They have a common field that they work on. Now, example, Government Medical Officers Association. Their field is health. Whenever a problem occurs in the health field, these people actively get involved in pressuring the government. Right? Sri Lanka Teachers Association. Education is the common field. So they are not there for one particular interest, one particular task. It's for like one particular field, and whatever the task in that field, whatever the interest in that field, and whatever the problem occurs in that field, they come into the spotlight. Okay. And when you take interest groups, they are not like that. Interest groups are gathered together to win a certain task or a certain request, one specific interest. Okay. Now, example, there was when the whole Saitam issue came up, there was this interest group called Saitam Virodhi Janapaura, which roughly translates into the human wall against Saitam. So they don't stand up whenever a health related issue or whenever an education related issue occurs. They have one specific task. They have one specific request. What is that? Closing down Saitam. Alright. So then you have the third type, which is which are lobbying groups. So the difference of lobbying groups is the fact that they are professional pressure groups, right? So we don't have that here. Mostly you see lobbying groups in countries like the US. So in the US you have lobbying groups which are professional pressure groups that they do pressuring the government for a living. Now imagine if the Saitam issue happened in the US, or if we had lobbying groups in Sri Lanka, right? The Government Medical Officers Association would not have to try to pressure the government, or that you don't have to start an interest group called the Saitam Virodhi Janapaura. Not necessary. You can just collect money, raise funds, and pay one of these lobbying groups that they would pressure the government for us. If we pay them, they would pressure the government and they would get Saitam closed somehow, right? Because they have the contacts. They have the contacts with the government. They know the big shots in the government. They sometimes even go up to the extent of bribing people, bribing the government people in practicality, right? So basically you pay these people to win your request. Not like pressure groups, interest groups. You don't have to protest or strike or go on rallies and all that. You just collect money and pay these people. They would pressure the government using and pulling their strings, and that way your desire gets fulfilled. Understand? Right. So normally we consider pressure groups to be a bold democratic feature and we normally say for a democratic country to protect its democratic status, pressure groups should exist, because pressure groups are talking about the problems people have, and they should not be silenced. If a government is there sort of like preventing the pressure groups from being active, the country is not a proper democratic country. Okay. But on the other hand, there are like there are like criticisms also against pressure groups. Now one criticism is that pressure groups have been politicized. Now some of the pressure groups have been funded and influenced by political parties. Now sometimes they would pressure a government unreasonably just because they've been paid off by the opposition party, right? Or they've been like manipulated or influenced by opposition party, or political parties sometimes start pressure groups in order to get their political sort of like agenda sorted. And because of this, and also there's another criticism saying pressure groups sort of represent a certain layer of the society. So because of that, pressure groups aren't really familiar with the real problems people have. There's a similar criticism like what the feminism faces. So pressure groups don't really talk about the actual problems of people. So that's another criticism. All right. So anyhow, that's the basic idea of pressure groups, and you all need to have a clear idea about what are the differences between pressure groups and political parties. First of all, political parties pursue power, right? Pressure groups pursue certain desires. Secondly, pressure groups have narrow motives because they basically have pressure groups, they basically have one specific motive. Interest groups of course have only one specific motive. Normal pressure groups have motives which are limited to one specific area, health or education or whatever. But you take political parties, they have broad motives, because whenever people have problem, political parties come and they appear because they are trying to get votes, right? Then thirdly, members of pressure groups are bound together with one common motive, because like all of them are fighting to get one thing, one request. Comparing to that, political party members don't have such a common motive, because simply the common motive they have is that they are pursuing political power. And also there's another difference, that political parties continuously exist because their motives cannot be ever properly fully fulfilled, right? Pressure groups, once they get their motives sorted, they dissolve themselves, right? Because if it's an interest group, now the Saitam Virodhi Janapawara is not in existence anymore. Why? Their motive was to close down Saitam, and now that Saitam is closed down, no need to stay anymore. So they have dissolved themselves. But political parties pursuing power is a never-ending process. Okay, which means that even if you gain political power, then you need to protect political power, then you need to expand political power, so it never ends. So political parties continuously exist, right? So those are the differences between political parties and pressure groups, and that's the explanation for pressure groups.